Nowadays, 40% of the claims are HVAC related, and it could be hundreds of dollars out of pocket for your clients with a home warranty if they do not have this particular product, which is this, and I'm speaking about either one, the Supreme or the Standard. They both have super HVAC coverage. So that's it for now. Let's enjoy the rest of the meeting. Thank you so much for your support, and again, I will continue to support this market center all the way, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome.
Definitely. Thank you.
I have a photo of Felix up at my house in Maine. There's a big cannon in the backyard, and Felix is back there near the cannon and the anchor. So he had a big time up there. Thank you for our lunch as well. CBC.
Good morning, everybody. Jim Heitzer, Joe Travato, Will Zakins. We spoke a little bit last week prior to the Fed meeting about interest rates being risen. They have, and with that, I'll just let Will speak a little bit this morning for us.
Yeah, so Joe did a great job the past couple weeks. If you haven't been here, just showing how rising interest rates over the next year, as well as, you know, on average in this area, 5% increase in home prices year to year will affect your home buyers, especially if they wait until this time next year to buy. Piggybacking on that, today, once again, the Fed released some more news about how the jobs report came in that 55,000 more jobs were added today than what were projected. This is just one thing, along with multiple other parts of economic data, including consumer sentiment, among other things, that really, you know, is pushing interest rates higher and higher until we see, you know, any type of slowdown in this economic data. Then rates are just going to continue to go up and up. So get those buyers off the fence, get them moving, send them to us. We'd love to help them out.
Thank you for your support. Thank you once again, Robert, for everything you've done
Quick
for us.
question.
Yeah.
What are interest rates now?
You're still under 5%. Last week, prior to the Fed meeting, we did touch 5%, so they did drop back a little bit. But again, in the next 6 months, based on the move in the Fed funds rate, which is down from 230 to 2.30%, which is now sitting at 3.11%, you can see rates in the mid 5% range.
Okay, before you all leave.
Yep.
How many of you does that spark just a little anxiousness or angst in your spirit? Be honest, tell the truth, shame the devil. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Historically, 5.5 is still a great rate.
Let me say this to you. Today's team meeting is about change your thinking, change your mindset, change your mind, and change your outcome, change your life. If I could put a spin on that, how many of you have been in the business less than 6 months? Okay, perfect. How many have been in the business less than 6 weeks? 1, okay, perfect.
Okay.
When I started, interest rates were 18%. I do not feel sorry for you. I do not feel the least bit of pain for you. Because in 6 weeks, I sold 6 houses. The first 6 weeks I was in the business, I sold 6 houses. I'm not bragging on that. I am telling you that I didn't know any better. Because everyone in my office was saying, oh, nobody will buy houses because interest rates are 18%. But I didn't know any better. So I didn't have that in my mind. I didn't have that in my thought process. So when you hear these interest rates are going up, use that as a tool, like Will said, to get your buyers off the fence. But don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. People will still need to buy homes. And the mid-5s are a pretty darn good rate.
And that's still cheaper than renting.
A lot cheaper.
Joe has a great line. He says the best time to buy a house is 20 years ago and today. Okay. Because 20 years from now, that house is going to be worth a lot more.
Piggybacking on that, I saw a little cartoon. You know how they'll draw just a little cartoon? And it was this guy sitting in front of a realtor's desk, and he was explaining what all he wanted in his home. And let's say he wanted 5,000 square feet, he wanted a home the last 5 years, and he wanted it in North Druid Hills, and they wanted it to be $250,000. To which the realtor responded, "You know, we had one like that. It sold 45 years ago."
Thank you.
Thank you.
Charlie.
All right, that's my cue. Nice new headshot. Dory, is this you? Is this? Oh.
Ask Aaron.
Thank you. Well, my phone number here is 404-442-6604. Charlie at mmhfirm.com. If you ever need help, let me know. Happy to do that. Happy to work on your closings too. But phone calls and emails about anything that we're not handling is great also. I want to talk about title exams today. Title exam is pretty basic to what closing attorneys do. We actually send somebody, we have somebody in-house, and sometimes we pay a third party. Someone actually goes to the courthouse in the different counties that the closing happens. So the normal process when we get a contract is we wait until you get through the due diligence period, because we want to make sure there's actually going to be a deal. Because we don't want to send somebody down to the courthouse and then the inspection goes south and then we wasted somebody's time and money. So we wait until the due diligence period comes through. Then at that point we send someone down to the courthouse to do the title exam. Normally what happens is if it closes, there's a fee on the settlement statement, $225, $250, then the buyer pays at the closing. If for some reason you get past that due diligence period and it doesn't close, we don't charge anybody anything. And that's pretty much par for the course for their closing attorney. So that's sort of how it normally works. I've gotten a few phone calls I get these phone calls all the time, but that's what I usually try to think of about these meetings is what have people called me about in the last week. People want to do title exams before a closing. There's a couple different reasons before they even have a contract. Sometimes buyers want to do it because investors just know there may be some sort of tax problem, probate problem. They've got an eye on a property and they want to see how much problem there could be on the title. We can do that. We charge $250 up front for that, and what happens is if the closing actually comes through our office, then we can get that. I'll send it to you, send it on to your client, and have a phone call with them about what's on there that interests them. And if they actually end up closing in our office, they get credit for prepaying. If they don't pay anything, then they wouldn't have already paid. But we do get payment before the closing of that. What's more common is a seller that wants to have something done. Maybe they inherited the property, or maybe they know that there's something going on, and maybe you have a listing and you're just concerned because you see a red flag. You don't want to get have a closing date and get blown up because you know well ahead of time there's going to be a problem. We can do that too. Same thing. We would have to prepay for that, and then I can give you my thoughts when it comes in, and we can go ahead and start working on title clearance. If that happens, usually it can be a bonus because we want to handle your closings obviously, and it's easier to direct those on the buyer side than the listing side. But if an attorney has already done the title work, done the title clearance and that kind of thing, you can sort of present that during your negotiations that there was some problems with this title. We went ahead and had a title exam done. And we've actually had these things cleared up, and we have a smoother transaction if the firm that did the title clearance actually handles the closing as well. And the good thing for your client in that situation is at the closing, because the buyer normally pays for the title exam, we can have the seller get reimbursed basically from the buyer side for that work that we pre-charged for. So you can have the title clearance done, and if it ends up closing with us, then your client actually gets paid back at closing. You get a credit for the buyer because the buyer normally pays for that. So title exams, we can do them beforehand. That's just sort of how this process will be. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you. We have some amazing training things coming up today, coming up in the next month. Dory, will you go over those with us?
Sure. Hey everyone. Okay, so upcoming classes. So to remind you, of course, legal mornings is every morning from 8:45 to 11. And I do have to do a shout out to one of our newest agents in the office, Dwayne. He was at National Mornings this morning, and he was killing it on the phone. So welcome and thank you. He was on the phone this morning. Right here.
This is Dwayne.
Oh, that's Dwayne.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
So join us all. It's really fun. We've got Ignite is daily through the next 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks. So you can check the calendar for what topic and who is teaching. We've got Thursday exhibits and amendments with Bill Shoemaker from CEC. It is 3 hours of CE credit if you need some credit and you haven't already taken that class. Career night. is this Thursday night from 5 to 8.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, today's Wednesday, sorry, thank you, Erin. So tomorrow it's from 5 to 8, so if you know of an agent that you co-opt with, that you think would maybe want to get some more information about why it's great to be with the Keller Williams family, please invite them and meet them here and have them come in and see what we can offer. We turn the whole room into this quiet little bistro. It's really fun. It won't look anything like this room right now, and we will give them lots of information. Anybody that you know maybe that was in your class at pre-license that you'd like to bring in, please bring them in. We'd love to meet them and talk to them about Keller Williams. Okay, Productivity Mastermind next Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30. And Cara, who is next Thursday?
Next Tuesday will actually next Tuesday from 2 to 3 p.m. will actually be our very own Robben Mathews.
Okay.
And she's going to be talking about something that I know is really near and dear to her heart, and she's really passionate about. And it's going to be about growing yourself as a leader. So please do your best to make it in. We'll obviously live stream it. It's definitely, another one that you don't want to miss.
Okay. On the 11th, really important. So we're at the end of the year. It's time to write your business plan, how to run your business like a business with Bob Kalinsky from 1 to 4:30. I believe there is an Eventbrite to sign up for that online. So please go and sign up for that. That's a great class. It will be packed. We've got on the 11th also the KW Tech Roadshow Labs Unleash 1 to 5, and where is that?
It's at the Hotel of the Ashford Duncan.
Okay, and that's also online information. Momentum starts the 15th at 12:30 to 2. So those of you that are here in this room that were involved in the MBA program last year and the year before, this is a retooling of the MBA program called Momentum. We want you to finish your year strong, and so it's a 4-week class on Mondays from 12:30 to 2. It is a little bit like that class that, close your ears, James, that Bold runs. A little bit like that, where we'll have captains, so anybody that is really, really, really competitive and would like to be a captain and help their team get to victory, come see me after team meeting. It is open to anybody in the office. We love a blend of agents that are experienced and agents that are new. And it is a really fun class. So an email will go out about that and Eventbrite also. I know that we have Katie Staples in the office, who is our Ninja Warrior, who is going to be one of our captains, and she's extremely competitive. And if I can talk Sarah into it, she might be. So anyway, that's always really fun, and it really does finish the year really strong and make you for a really great first quarter 2019. Okay? And then Code of Ethics, of course, with our very own John Thompson on the 18th.
If anybody can make Code of Ethics fun,
It's
John
John.
Thompson can make Code of Ethics fun.
Yes, and it's on the 18th from 1 to 4:15. Again, an Eventbrite to sign up. Okay, any questions? Cool. Okay.
What's the Tech Roadshow again?
Robin?
I will be able to tell you more next week.
There you go.
Okay.
But let me tell you what I know. Well, let me ask you. What have you heard about Keller Williams' new technology coming out? Did anybody get to watch on Friday where Gary live streamed? Was that not absolutely amazing?
Yeah.
It's diving in and how to use those new things that are coming out.
Okay.
Okay, does that help answer your question? The new technology tools that are being released, most all of them will be available by March the 1st, which is right around the corner, believe it or not. And Erin and I'm very excited are leaving tomorrow night. We're going to Austin. I've worked for Gary Keller for 14 years and I've never met that man. And I'm going to meet him Friday. I'm going to sit in his class and learn all about technology. So I am so pumped. He's going to go over all that. So I'll be able to tell you a little bit more next week. And also, y'all, those of you who've been around a while, what does Peachtree Road grow? Leaders. J.D. Kellum, our very own, has been selected as a regional trainer for the new technology. So JD is actually leaving today to go to Austin, and he's going to be in the trainer part, so he can train all over our region on the technology. So we might get a few scoop the trainer classes from JD, because he will be certified to teach it all over the region, and he's one of our own. But it is some amazing things coming out, and I'm so excited to learn about them. The command center will actually take in your database. Does anybody use Canva? Canva? Canva, sorry.
Yes.
It's got that in it. It's been recreated in the command center.
That's awesome.
You can actually create your own flyers just like you can on Canva.
Cool.
Within our technology. Just amazing new things coming out. You're going to be beyond thrilled. My favorite saying that I heard about it, y'all know Justin Seavey. You've ever heard of that name? He's just like one of the top 10 agents in all of Keller Williams, and happens to be here in Atlanta. And he uses a lot of add-ons. What do I mean by add-ons to run his business? Third-party vendors like what? Boomtown. What else? Zillow. What else? Real Geeks. What else? Follow Up Boss. Any of those top products that he has to pay for every month. He said that, and he has been out like JD has several times with Gary, and he figured up and told that it was going to save him $96,000 a year. Wow. All of the products that are going to be within our new system that he's been having to pay for to run his business the way he runs it with a great big team. I just call that awesome. Yeah, I just call that awesome. So I'm very excited about that, and thank you for asking the question. I shouldn't have taken that long, but I get real excited.
That's okay. And do I need to go on do I need to register for that?
You can. We'll get a link out to you. We'll send it out to you via email, because this one is being provided by the region.
Okay.
The one that's up there is being provided by the region. So yeah, you'll need to register through Eventbrite for that. Seems like I had something else on there for that. Oh, I did. Everybody get out your little phones or wherever you keep your calendar. I want you to open your calendar to November the 9th. Giving you way far ahead of time on this one. And I want you to block out the day from 9 to 3.
November 5th.
November 5th, my bad. 9 to 3.
Monday noon, okay.
Monday, 9 to 3. Business Planning Clinic. Business Planning Clinic from 9 to 3 here in the office. James Farron, who just got back from teaching it in Miami, all over the Carolinas. And we're just blessed because at Peachtree Road we wrote what? Leaders. That James Farron is going to get to be with us. And that's like when he gets back from New York, because as we've talked about, he is now a Bold coach. So proud. He has his very first Bold next week.
Yep, starting up next week, next Thursday.
He had to go
if you
there.
guys want to come to Rochester and take Bold, come on up.
He had to go up there to the Yankees.
That's right.
But we are so proud of James Farron and so honored when he comes back into our world and teaches us here at home. So make sure you write that down on your calendar so that we will have a good 2019 for you and a great class for James. I'm so proud. I want to talk to you. I want to do a few series of team meetings before the end of the month about how you think, because I'm firmly convinced that how you think determines your outcome in life. And one of the things I like to do is grow leaders and leave you with thought-provoking things. Have you ever had this little voice in your head that says you can't? And he talks to you sometimes and tells you can't do whatever it is you want to do. And then on some days you think, I can. I don't know what to do. Your mind plays tricks on you a lot. And I want to talk about that for a little bit. But first we're going to watch a video, and we're going to watch a young man totally change his mind. And there's three main components of this video. And I want to give a little assignment here. So if you've got something to write on, go ahead and get it out. I want this group over here, from this aisle to the wall. I want you to focus on Brock. There's a character in this little clip. His name is Brock. And I want you to focus on Brock. I want you to, any ahas you have from the whole clip, obviously, but especially from Brock. Watch how he moves through the process, okay? Brock. I want this group in the center. I want you all to focus on the coach. And by the way, you have the biggest job. So anything that you see the coach do that you see Brock respond to, or any ahas that the coach says that make you think, you watch for the coach and what the coach does, okay? With this group over here, from the aisle to the wall, I want you all to focus on the rest of the team, because something happens in the rest of the team when they see Brock move. You may have seen this clip before. I want you to watch it this time with great purpose, because you have an assignment, and then we're going to talk about that. And it doesn't hurt my feelings at all that it's about football. Uh-oh, where's our sound?
How strong is Westview this year? How strong we are. You already read the Friday night.
It's there.
Well, not if I know.
Do we need to turn the lights back on? No. Can you start it back up at the very end?
How strong is Westview this year? How strong we are. You already read the Friday night. Well, not if I know we can beat them. Remember, Rob. You do Jeremy. Not yet. I want you to do the death crawl again, because I want to see your absolute best. What, you want me to go to 30? I can go to 50. I can go to 50 and nobody's on my back. I think you're dreaming about it. If you can, I should promise you you're going to do your best. Alright? Your best. Okay. You're going to give me your best. I'm going to give you my best. I want you to get up to a certain point when you feel further. Get down. Jeremy, get on his back. Be a tight hold, Jeremy. Alright? Let's go, Rock. You can use off the ground. Just your hands and feet. There you go. Go to the left. Go to the left. There you go. Good effort. That way, Rock. You keep coming. There you go. It's a good start. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go, Brock. Good strength. That's it, Rock. That's it. 20 yet? You get to 20. You give it your best. You keep going. That's it. No, don't stop, Brock. You got more in you than that. You gotta keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Don't quit till you got nothing left. There you go. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Your very best. Your very best. Your very best. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. Don't quit on it. Keep going. Keep driving. Keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. That's it. Your very best. Don't quit on it. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Don't quit till you got nothing left. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. I want everything you got. Come on, keep going. Hurts. Don't quit on it. You're very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. He's heavy. I know he said it. I got out of strength. You negotiate with your body to find more strength, but don't you give up on me, Brock. You keep going, you hear me? You keep going. You're doing good. You keep going. Do not quit on me. You keep going. I know it hurts. You keep going. You keep going. It's all hard from here. 30 more steps. Keep going, Brock. Come on. Keep going. And let it burn. It's all hard. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Come on. Keep going. You're going to be your best. You're fast. Don't stop. Keep going. It's not too hard. You keep going. Come on, Brock. Give me more. Give me more. Keep going. 20 more steps. 20 more. Keep going, Brock. Give me your best. Don't quit. No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Come on, Kelly. You don't quit. Keep going. Keep going. Don't stop, Kelly. You don't quit on me. No, you keep going. You keep going. Don't rock. 10 more steps. 10 more. 10 more. 10 more. Keep going. Don't quit. Give me more. You can. You can. 5 more. 5 more. Come on, rock. Come on. Don't quit. Don't quit. Come on, rock. 2 more. 1 more.
But good Brock. You're in the end zone. Brock, you are the most influential player on this team. If you walk around defeated, so will they. Don't tell me you can't give me more than what I've been seeing. You just carried a 140-pound man across this whole field in your arms. Brock, I need you. God's gifted you with the ability of leadership. Don't waste it.
Coach?
Can I count on you?
Yes. Coach?
What is it, Jeremy?
I only 160.
Alright. Who next?
What did you see? What did you see? Not in your particular groups, but what did you see with the overall film? Stephanie, you're about to say something. It's right there on the tip of your tongue.
I think Brock was somewhat blinded in that he, by his own thoughts, but then once he didn't have that perception and didn't have a judge of how far he'd come, he just gave it his effort, his all, and kept going. And I think the coach broke it down into smaller steps. Number one, kept asking him to promise to do his best. And so that reassurance that he had to give his best made him work harder too. And then he broke it down into smaller steps, 20 steps more, 10 steps more, 5 steps more. You're doing it, and encouraged him, and then he acknowledged, you're better than you ever thought you were.
Pretty good video? Yeah. Pretty awesome. It's from a movie called Facing the Giants. If you ever want to watch the whole movie is phenomenal. Let's talk about Brock. Who had Brock? Well, you all had Brock. Tell me what you saw in Brock at the beginning.
Well, the first thing, he was focused on others.
Brock?
He was focused on the other team.
He was focused on the other team. That was the very first thing, right? He was focused on the other team. And he didn't think he could beat them, did he? No, so he was looking at his competition, right? What's the bold law that goes along with that?
Don't compare your
insides to other people's outsides.
Don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. He was afraid he couldn't win because they were stronger. What else about Brock?
He had set up limiting beliefs about himself, that he was capable of doing this much, and that was all he was capable of
How
doing.
far was he gonna go?
30 yards.
30, and then the coach said, I think you can do
50.
50.
And then when he was blinded and he didn't realize what he was doing, then he went all the way, so.
He went all the way to the end zone. What else about Brock?
He started off defeated and didn't believe in himself.
He started off defeated and didn't believe in himself. Would you believe in yourself if you death crawled 100 yards with a 160 on your back, not a 140? Yeah.
And then until he was in the end zone, he didn't even believe it himself that he'd done it.
He didn't,
you know?
did he?
And what an aha moment.
He didn't
that
know
he
how
could do
far he could go.
Yeah.
He didn't know how far he could go. What do you think is any symbolism attached to the blindfold? If you could put a meaning to the blindfold in that little clip.
Well, he thought the achievement would be 20 yards.
He did, didn't he?
He thought if he, in his mind, if he went 20 yards, he did something.
Yeah. And he went 100. The blindfold might be the inside of your own eyes. Because sometimes you think you can't do X, Y, or Z, and you don't know how far you can go. You don't know how big you can be. And if somebody told you how far you could come, you wouldn't believe it until you took your blindfold off. I think the blindfold stands for a lot of things that could happen. Brock was a leader, right?
You know, maybe the coach, talk about symbolism, the coach really should be yourself.
Ah.
That should be your voice talking to yourself instead of saying,
How many
I
times
can't do it,
do we have
I can't
that
do
voice in
it.
both ears?
Yes, because I all the time
Good
say
and
that.
bad.
Control the first thought.
Yeah.
Say it again.
You can't control the first thought. You can control the second.
Say it again, loudly and proudly.
You can't control the first thought in your mind, but you can control the second thought in your mind.
Yeah. Brock didn't know how far he could go. Well, he went as far as he could go on that day. On that day. Now I want to skip over to how Brock impacted the rest of the team. What happened to the rest of the team as the clip went on? Y'all fell asleep.
They were shocked.
Kind of amazing.
Yeah.
They were amazed. They were shocked. What did they start doing?
They were inspired mentally.
They were inspired. What was their posture like when the clip started? Yeah, they were laughing, weren't they? They were all sitting down, but what happened as Brock crossed the field? What happened to their posture? They stood up, didn't they? Now you all are going to talk about the main coach, but what happened? There were two coaches. I don't know if anybody caught this or not. There were two coaches who stayed back. You see that? They both had whistles around their necks. Do you think they believed at the first? I'm not sure they did. But what happened at the end? They're like, okay, who's next? See, that's the way I think. Who's next? Who's next? If one did it, two can. If two did it, five can. If 5 did it, 25 can. That's the way I think.
He also he raised the standard.
Brock did, didn't he?
Brock raised the standard.
Brock raised the standard. And the coach told him he was gifted to be a leader. And so when Brock did that, and the rest of the people saw that, he raised the standard and said, if I can, you can. If I can, you can. Talk to me, Coach Group.
the coach was the louder voice in his head.
The coach
So,
was the louder
see,
voice
he had
in
the
his
self-defeating voice. I'm burning, it's burning, it hurts. And anybody that's ever done a workout like that knows exactly what he's talking about. But the coach was the overriding voice in his head. For every one time he'd complain, the coach was 3 times saying, move it, move it, move it, you can do it, you can do it. Give me all you got.
You said you were going to give me your best. He kept saying that, didn't he? You said you would give me your best. What else about the coach?
He was played a couple of different roles of being very encouraging and having positive affirmations, but also holding him accountable to what he said he was going to do.
I couldn't wait for you to. I was glad you were sitting in that section because Jonathan is so disciplined in his martial arts that I know he's coached at extremely high levels and taught at extremely high levels. So he was encouraging, but he also held the standard, right? Right.
The coach also believed in him more than he believed in himself. And sometimes you need a leader that sees the best in you and see your greatness, because you may not see it just yet. So the coach was like nurturing his inner confidence and believed in him at a higher level.
Yes, that was my favorite part. Yeah. What else did the coach do? Love that part.
He acknowledged that it hurt.
He did. I know it hurts.
I know it hurts.
Yeah. Where was the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say that the coach was there the whole time, and he was walking alongside him. And when he really needed to step up to that next gear, he got down to his
That's
level.
where I was going exactly.
Yeah, and got in his ear and really started pushing him to a new level.
The coach didn't just stand on the sidelines, did he? The coach pretty much crawled it with him.
Yeah.
He didn't have the man on his back, but he crawled it with him. Crawled it with him. And the coach pulled him out, didn't he? Because Brock thought he could go to the 20 very easily because he offered that up. Well, you want me to go to 20? I'll go to 30. You think you go to 50? Probably planted a different seed, didn't he? I'm good if nobody's on my back. He did it double that with 160-pound man on his back. Where are you stopping? Where are you stopping? Are you at the 20? 30? 50? Or the end zone? Where are you stopping? What's the voice in your head say? Oh, it got funky in here. It got funky in here. We all have them, don't we? Yeah, and they wear different clothes and they show up different. What are some of the voices that you hear in your head from time to time? Who's going to be brave and tell me a voice you hear?
Mine was that I was too old to start in something new.
So
Amen, sister.
Too old to start something new. How's that working out for you?
It's working out good with Anthony. Because I can always count on him with the tech stuff that's over my head. I'm pretty good at it, but there's stuff that's way over my head, and he helps me through it.
So you found a way.
I did.
I wouldn't get in your way, by the way. John found a way. John's just a little bit newer than you in the journey, but he's starting a new path, and it can be scary, right? Any of you have a little difficulty switching from your real job to real estate and not having that income that you can depend on every month, and that becomes your limiting belief? It's a little scary, isn't it? A little scary. Does it hold you back? See, it can be the thing that pushes you on, or it can be the noose around your neck because you're tied to getting that paycheck, and you never know how much that paycheck is costing you. What do I mean by that?
Sometimes you can't serve two masters.
Can't serve two masters, and you get to where you depend on this one over here, so you never soar with that one over there. Does that make sense? I can depend on this, even though it's a little, or it's less, I can depend on it, so I hold on to it, and it becomes the noose around your neck that chokes you from being the eagle that you could possibly have been if somebody believed in you, if you pushed it to be your very best, because that's what Brock had to do, didn't he? Had to push to be his very best, and he achieved double what he thought he could do, even smart mouthed. He did double. I've asked a couple people, 3 people to come up in James today to talk to us about what they learned in Bold about mindset. So if you all would come on up. We've got coach, we've got 3 Bold students. So, Kenya, how many times have you taken Bold?
I've taken Bold 7 times.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to say this. My grandfather was a Cherokee Indian. Some of you have heard me say this before. Full-blooded Cherokee. So if you wonder why I go on the warpath sometimes, he had this saying that a man never steps in the same river twice. The river has changed, and so has the man. Because the river is always flowing. The water runs. You'll never step in at the same place. And hopefully the man has changed tomorrow what he was today. So 7 times you go to Bold. Did she spend some money? I can tell you about the first time she went to Bold. Please. I'll let you tell it.
Okay. The very first time, I wasn't even thinking about Bold at all, honestly. And Robben approached me and said, you know, I really think that you should go to Bold. And I looked at her like, I don't have the money, first and foremost, to go to Bold. I was new into the business, transitioning from teaching. And we all know if you're a former teacher, you don't make a whole bunch of money.
But you do make some.
You do make some.
And you're going to get a check.
Absolutely, you do make some. So at that time, it just wasn't financially in my budget, right, to attend Bold. So she sat me down and said, you know what, Kenya, you need to go to Bold because it's definitely going to deal with your mindset. And my mindset was jacked up when I first started the business. It was really, well, first and foremost, I came into the business, it was pretty good, and then we hit, the crash. And so, truly for me, I feel like Bold really helped save my life in terms of my professional life. You know what I mean? My professional life.
And this is not about Bold, by the way. I just chose them because they came out of Bold. But I want you to talk to me about, do you hear her saying she was at the lowest of her lows? That's why I knew she needed to go. She just needed to go. It wasn't, she just needed to go.
Yeah.
What did you learn the first Bold that changed your mindset?
I feel like for me it was just all about, first of all, being around others who were doing business on such a high level, and to see that every single Monday, people coming in, producing, doing the activities that they needed to do. So for me it was more of a discipline thing, in regards to.
So the first thing you learned was discipline.
Absolutely.
Kind of like Brock did. Keep on going down the field.
Keep on going. Yeah. Keep going. And then too, just the mindset of breaking through my own limitations.
You're 20 and you're 30.
Correct. Because I placed a lot of limitations on myself. And so having that constant breakthrough, and honestly, that's why I keep going, because you know, like they say in bold, you have this drunk monkey. So even this year, you know, some people have known, for me, I've just had a lot of fall in my business. So to be in that class, and the bold coach was saying, you know what, Kenya, I talked to him, and he voiced this to our whole class too, but he was saying, you know what, Kenya, you have to fall in love with the activity. You do not fall in love with the outcome, because you don't control the outcome. However, you do control the activity. And that just blessed my soul
That
so
was
much.
this last
That was
one.
like, okay, that's why I came here. Because, you know, you, every time you go, you learn something. And you're going to have some type of breakthrough. And your mindset continues to increase and go a whole nother level.
So this time your mindset change was, I'm not ever gonna depend on the outcome. I'm gonna fall in love with the activity.
Yeah, because when I'm telling you, termination after termination, I mean, I probably have about 14, 15
Anybody else had
terminations.
that and it hurts your heart and you get down in the
Oh,
dumps?
yeah.
You wanna cry and sling snot?
And I did, and I cried. However, I knew that I was showing up. And I said, you know what, then I'm doing something right, because I keep showing up. And I might not see the manifestation happen right now. However, it's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
It's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Now, Frida and Katie are first time. Well, I mentioned, part of, yeah, it's kind of funny, because we had to push Frida.
So
Kicking and screaming.
What's also funny is all of us are educators.
Exactly.
That's
When she said
right.
that, I was like,
Three teachers.
teacher, and administrators. So.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you did that on purpose.
I did not.
No, tell them you did.
John.
Is there, can you just give a little description of what bold is?
Bold is a 7. Let the coach tell you.
Let me tell him. Let me tell him.
All right, Frida, you're right.
I'm Frida and I'm bold. And so bold stands for building objectives. Business objectives are life by design, not by default. So basically you're designing your own life by design, not just allowing your life to happen by default. And so what it does is you go in there and you're grouped with a team of people at all different levels. Some of them are very high, top producing people. Some of them are new, like we are, a year or less. Some of them are right out of the chute. So a lot of them have been to this activity called Bold several times, and some of them have been, this is the first time. And so you go through this week to week thing, and you have a notebook, and I brought mine in, actually. So you have a notebook, and each week you focus on something. And one of the things that it had that meant the most to me was the bold laws. And I don't know how many there are. How many are there total?
They've added on. There's 36 now.
So there's 36. So one of the things that I took away, so here's just one piece of paper that has all the bold laws on them. They're pretty simple but very meaningful. And it's just, there is no try. You don't say, I'm going to try to do this. You're going to say, I'm going to do this. And you have to get that mindset that you're not going to try to do it, but you're going to do it. Or something about, well, one of them is life by design, not by default. One of them is don't listen to your drunk monkey. And my drunk monkey, like I said earlier, was telling me, you're not going to be very successful at this because you're too old to start something new. And these people that are mega agents have been doing this for 20 years. But, you know, I've got something that they may not have had when they started.
A sparkle.
You know what?
A sparkle.
A sparkle. I've got a huge database because of what I have done in my past, and in being in education right here in Buckhead for 14 years of the 30. So my database is huge. My sphere of influence is huge. So I'm starting out. You know, I have to look at my mindset and look at the positive of what I've got coming into this, just like you need to do. But anyway, so you go through, and 1 week you're talking about, you know, your mindset. Another week you're talking about how to deal with for sale by owners. Another week they're talking to you about how to do listing presentations well, working with buyers, how to make money, and they go through each different activity and focus that week, and they then they allow you to practice it with a partner, and then they take it a step further and allow you time to go and actually make phone calls and use the script that you just practiced with your partner. So it's just very intensive, and you have homework, and you have goals that you have to do, and you have to turn those into your team leader every single week to prove that you've done them, and they push you. They really push you.
When Bold was about to start, Frida hit a wall. I'm gonna tell on her in public.
I don't care.
That's what I'm gonna do. Frida had been a very successful principal in Atlanta. She was at the top of her game, you know. Dr. Hamilton, everybody knew her, everybody knew who she was. She was in Ignite, and she kind of hit a wall of, I'm feeling like I'm at the bottom again.
Right.
And it messed with her head a little bit. You know, I used to know all the answers, and now I'm starting over, and I don't feel so good
Now
about
she doesn't mind jumping in front of the bowl coach. Things have grown.
And that's just like I knew Kenya was supposed to go that time, I knew Frida was supposed to go, and she bucked every step of the way.
I did. Yeah, I didn't want to go. As a matter of fact, the day I signed up for it, I called Dory, or wrote her an email or a text. I don't know. I said, how do I get out of this?
Yes.
I don't want to do it.
And what I say?
Come talk to me in the morning, which I knew was what she was going to do, because she's not going to take no for an answer.
She's a good coach.
She's got an object. She's got a script for every objection. You can never tell Dory no. She's got a script for that. But anyway, so she talked me into staying, and it's, you know, it was a good thing. I mean,
I talked you through your wall.
She talked me through my wall, talked me into staying. However you want to say it, I stayed. But
yeah, she came up to me at break. She said, "Well, I signed up for this stupid thing." Spit in my face. Good for you. Good for you.
But anyway, I think the thing that I got more than anything out of it was really paying attention to what I'm saying to myself. And I'm always paying, like, I hate the mornings. So I'll get it when my alarm goes off. Oh my God, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to that office. I drive an hour and 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes an hour and a half to get here.
And I'm so
And I don't know how many real estate offices I passed to get here, but, you know, and so I have to.
Kenya does.
Yeah, I have to, after I tell myself how much I hate mornings and how I hate getting up, then I have to rethink my thoughts. And I have to do that every morning.
New affirmation.
So, that's my little story.
And then we have Katie, who is truly a ninja, American Ninja Warrior. And, you know, that would be a very disciplined person, right? That can go through that intense training. And she's probably harder on herself than most anybody I know.
That's probably pretty true.
So I'm anxious to see what Katie got out of her first goal.
So I was a real estate agent in Florida. I'm still licensed down there for your referrals. And I came here at the beginning of the year, and Georgia's just, and Atlanta are just completely different monsters. And I wanted to be good at this and this and this and this, and I would kind of just throw myself all over the place trying to see what stuck. So with Bold, what they taught us is pick one thing and perfect it, and then add one more thing, perfect that, add a third, perfect that. So every week I picked a different Bold law, and I made sure I wrote it a couple times every day in our little Bold journal, and I focused on that every week. So the first one was, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to say it right in front of everyone. Don't mistake movement for achievement. Yep, that's right. Okay, don't mistake movement for achievement. And that's because I come to the office and I really like to talk, shocker. And so I would be here and I'm like, oh, I'm being so productive because I was in the office. No, I was talking to Frida or Sarah or eating something. So
Or on Facebook telling people how productive you are.
yeah, pretty much. So I was like, okay, I'm making my calls, and when you have to do your 20 contacts a day, I used to think that was like not possible. And apparently it's possible to do 100 in one day, and you won't work for 2 days after that because you're so tired. But Oh, good. Oh, Cara, and you can do that. So I picked one thing, I perfected it. I picked another one the next week. I perfected that.
Awesome. James,
Yeah.
mine just bring us home, huh? Bring us home with your journey.
Sure.
And how you grew into a bold coach.
Well, let's start with this. I started with Keller Williams. I started in real estate in 2013. So
It's not been that long ago.
I'm in my 5th year of real estate. And I was sitting in John Thompson's Ignite class, and you know, I knew nothing. I sat right there, and John was telling me all these things I didn't know over and over and over, and it just took step by step by step to grow and get better every single day. And it has less to do with bold than it has to do with your mentality, because all of us have the natural skill sets within us. We all know what we have to do every single day to get better. And I think the fact of the matter is that sometimes we just, something in our mind is telling us, no, I'm going to make an exception for myself today, or I'm not going to put in my full self. And what I want you to realize is that in 5 years, I'm in a very different place now than I was in 2013. And Gary Keller says consistently, over and over and over, you are 5 years away from being the person that you want to be. And so just place that in your mind and tell yourself that anything is possible. Because did I think 5 years ago when I was sitting in John's Ignite class that I would have the opportunity to travel around the world, travel around the country, coaching people and guiding people and changing their thought process and building their business to a new level of productivity? That never would have been a thought that crossed my mind. And this company has created that opportunity for myself, and you have that opportunity within yourself any day. If you say, I want to build a millionaire real estate team, you can do it. There's nothing standing in your way to make it happen but what's between these 2 ears. And that I mean, I could go on and on and on about bold and all the amazing things that it does. It's not about that. It's about what is in your mind and what you see in yourself. And if you don't see it in yourself, it's time to get a coach, because they will see it in you and they will push you to get to that next level. There's no way I could be where I am today without great leadership here, without having a great coach, without having an amazing supportive wife to get me to where I am. Nobody makes it where they want to go alone. So have those people in your corner that are going to have your back on those days that you were talking about. When you're feeling down and dark, you knew you had people that you could reach out to get you to that next level. So all of us are a testament less about bold than about mindset and having that shift. So that's kind of where I sit with that.
Ahas from today. We're not leaving here until I get 3, so go.
Not all at once. I want to say one more thing about
Of course.
So the day Robin told us that she was leaving, Anthony and I went in our office and I sat there and cried because I told him that what I hated about her leaving more than anything was because she believed in me more than I believed in myself. And if I could ever believe about myself what she believed in me, I would be unstoppable.
And hear this. I do believe in you. Probably more than you can comprehend. And that doesn't change just because of where my feet are, dear.
Well, I'm coming to Maine.
What do you
You got a soul kind right now.
Lives change because of where my feet are. And what I want you to do as we transfer this is believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. Because I believe you can do anything. I believe you all can. And the frustration comes when you get between me and my mission for you. See, I have this mission for you, and you get between it, and I get frustrated. Reagan, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I went to Little Ones. And I'll probably go again eventually, but I got frustrated and would say, you know, I'm not paying for something that I already know I need to do. So, and a coach once said, if you don't make your calls, you didn't work today.
That's right.
Which was like, now I do. Like, I look forward to getting into the office and making the calls, and so you can tell yourself and make it change your mindset in a way that I never thought that I could. And I thought affirmations were silly, and my husband still makes fun of me about it, but he's not laughing.
He's not making as much money as you need to do.
Exactly.
I have a husband that supports my affirmations.
Yeah. And my bank account.
Yeah. And Reagan has doubled her business every year she's been in business.
Well, the other thing I was going to say about coaching is I've been coaching with Robben for the past year and a half, and I hit a bump in the road a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't get a hold of her, but every time I would just say, what would she say? And I just handled it. So when you start to surround yourself with, people who know how to handle things and top producers, you just have to say, not what do I need to do or how am I going to, how am I going to handle this? You just know, what do I need to do? Let's do it, So the coaching is huge too, and it's expensive but well worth it. So
you didn't pay me, by the way.
I know.
I don't want them to think you paid me.
An invoice is coming, though.
For most people, it is, and I have paid for it when it, in the past.
Reagan came in and told me she was gonna. Last year was what, 8 million?
Say again?
Last year was 8 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
8.5.
8.5, and she was gonna double it this year. Don't tell her about, I went, we can go from 4 to 8 easy, but when you go from 8, half to 17, what are we gonna hit, Reagan?
You probably remember closer than I do, but
We're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
We'll probably pass it.
I don't like
She comes in and says she's gonna do 34 next year. We'll get that too.
Yeah.
We'll get that too. John, you had your hand up in Dory?
Yes, and it has to do what I'm curious about. First of all, I want to give kudos to Katie. She was she was clearly, I was the team leader for our group. And she was clearly she was a star pupil on the team. She's the one that led the group performance-wise. In a lot of ways, not just, there were people who I think and so forth, but as far as attitude and being there on time and doing all the homework and really being involved, yeah, she did it.
Thank you.
And my aha from Bo, which I'm very curious about Reagan's drive, because there's drive and then the combination of a big why. It really resonated for some reason this year in Bo is what is compelling you to do what you're supposed to do. If you don't have something that's compelling you to do, to even have, what's compelling you for you to say the affirmations, to do the different things. So, when I know I've seen Ray's success from day one, but I'm curious, what's your big why drive to double?
What says in this room stays in this room. I just really wanted to prove to myself and my husband, that I could do it. And I want to provide for my son, and I want to have a life that we can all enjoy.
And that's a struggle for Reagan, by the way.
Yeah.
I have to stay on her all the time because she will be so focused on the work, she will not celebrate the wins. So when she says, I wanted a life that we could all enjoy, hear me say that was talk only coming out of her mouth at one time. And now we purposely plan special things so that she enjoys her life, because she's so committed to the goal. You ain't getting in her way, that she won't stop and celebrate along the way. And so I think that's been the biggest thing for me, is to watch her. She's taken a Disney cruise this year, and she has on a beautiful Tiffany necklace that her husband bought for her as a surprise. Yeah, on the Disney cruise. just got back this weekend from Highlands with her whole family. So, and Bahamas a few weeks ago as a little girls trip. So seeing Reagan celebrate has been the gift she gave to me.
I guess I feel like too, like once you work hard and prove yourself, like you can't go back. I can't go backwards. I just can't. So that's what drives me, you know, is that's a failure to go backwards, you know. So
love it. And you, Dory, and we're gonna finish out.
Okay, so I just want to address what Frida said about when she said she went back to her office and cried when she found out you weren't going to be here because you believe in her more than she believes in herself. So I want to make sure everybody understands and is reassured that what do leaders create?
Other leaders.
And so Robben has created a leadership team that believes in you more than you believe in yourself. So that's not going away. We believe in you more than you do. And we are going to make sure the legacy of Robben Mathews lives on forever.
Did you learn something today? Did you learn something? Yes. Don't let your self-talk talk you out of yourself. Did you hear what I said? Don't let your self-talk talk you out of yourself. And yourself being the great person that you can be, and the great achievements that you can achieve, and the great successes that you want. Truly go design your life. Go design your life. And if the last legacy that I leave is that you check off the box that she designed her life and now she gets to live it, although that makes me as sad as you, believe it or not, there are days I go like this. Did I make the right decision? Am I stupid? What am I doing? I created the life. And I want you to do the same. Because it's not about working every day. It's about creating the life that you want for you and for your family. And Reagan, you've done a beautiful job of that. Stop and celebrate along the way. Stop and celebrate. So thank you all for coming today. We had to thank this panel.
Death calls in the parking lot. Let's go.
You're so bold.
Hey, team.